Welcome to Cheater Confessions. Let's get started with today's story. The morning of my wedding felt calm, almost too calm. The setup at the vineyard looked perfect, and the band had just started warming up. When I checked my watch, it was 2:11 p.m. The ceremony was set for 2:30. I was in the groom's room with Eli, my best man, adjusting my tie for the third time. He placed a firm hand on my shoulder, checking in. I gave a nod in return, nervous, but I told myself I was ready. Kimberly and I had been together for 4 years. We met through work. She was in marketing, I was in product design. And what started as a few meetings over coffee turned into moving in together, holidays with each other's families, and talking about kids. She'd pushed hard for the vineyard venue, said it was romantic and timeless. I went along with it. At 2:25, my phone rang. Kimberly. Eli raised an eyebrow, his expression questioning. I gave a half smile, then turned and stepped out of the room to take the call. "Hey," I said. There was silence. Then breathing. "Gary?" Her voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. I can't do this." I stood there, holding the phone like it had turned into a live wire. "What are you talking about? I'm leaving. I just can't marry you. I'm sorry." "You're leaving?" I said slowly. "Where are you?" "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Please don't hate me." Then the line went dead. I didn't call back, didn't panic. I stood still for a full minute. Then I walked back inside, looked Eli in the eye and said, "Kimberly's not coming." He blinked. "Wait, what?" "She just called, said she's not doing it. She's gone." He stared at me like he hadn't heard me right. "You're serious?" "Yeah." I took a deep breath and walked down the hall toward the ceremony area. A few hundred guests were chatting, waiting. I picked up the mic. "Slight change of plans," I said. People quieted down fast when they realized it was me. "Hi, everyone," I said. My voice sounded steady, which surprised me. "Thanks for being here today. I know you were expecting to see Kimberly and me get married about now. But there's been a change." There was a ripple of confused murmurs. "I just got a call from Kimberly," I said. "She's not coming. She said she can't do this." A few people gasped. Others turned to look toward the bridal house, like maybe she'd still show up late in a white dress and heels. "She's not sick. She's not stuck in traffic," I added. "She made a choice, one I didn't see coming." I scanned the crowd. My family looked stunned. Her father, Bernard, looked like he'd just been slapped. Her mother's face was frozen in horror. "Now, I'm not here to give a speech about heartbreak," I said. "We've got a full kitchen staff, an open bar, and a costly band that I'm not letting go to waste. So, if you're here to support either of us, you're welcome to stay. We're still having a party. It's just not a wedding anymore." I raised my glass of water. "To new beginnings, even the ones you don't ask for." The silence lasted maybe 3 seconds. Then Eli clapped. Someone on my side of the aisle joined in. Slowly, hesitantly, others followed. Kimberly's parents got up and left. About a third of the guests trickled out behind them. Some muttered apologies on their way. But the rest stayed. Eli grabbed me a whiskey and handed it over without saying anything. By sunset, the reception looked like a normal wedding, if you ignored the missing bride. The next 2 days were quiet. No texts, no calls, no sign of Kimberly. On Monday morning, I started getting messages. Not from Kimberly, from mutual friends who hadn't been there, or only heard secondhand. "Hey man, heard things didn't go as planned. You okay?" Kimberly saying she had a panic attack, that it wasn't what people think. I didn't reply at first. I hadn't told anyone the full story, not what she said, not how calm she sounded. But it was clear Kimberly was already trying to control the narrative. Later that night, her name lit up on my screen. I let the call ring out and turned the phone face down. By Tuesday night, it was worse. Someone forwarded me a message Kimberly sent to a group chat. I wasn't thinking straight. Gary was putting so much pressure on everything. I just snapped. He didn't even try to talk to me, just humiliated me in front of everyone. That last part stopped me cold. She was rewriting the story, turning my silence into cruelty, acting like she was the victim. That night, I got a call from Jasmine, one of Kimberly's closest friends. We hadn't spoken in months. "Gary, I shouldn't be doing this. But you deserve to know," she said. "Know what?" "She didn't have a panic attack. She left with someone. His name's Dominic. She was planning it for weeks." I didn't say anything. "She told me she wasn't sure she wanted to marry you anymore. that Dominic made her feel alive again. He promised to take her away, start over somewhere else. She was supposed to meet him right after she called you. I exhaled, long and slow. She made me promise not to say anything, Jasmine added. But this? Blaming you like that? It's not right. No, I said. It's not. Jasmine didn't sugarcoat it. She started talking to Dominic about 3 months ago. I think it began online. Then they met up a few times. He's older, owns a bar in Fort Myers or something. I sat down at the dining table, phone to my ear, barely blinking. She told me he was offering her a different kind of life. No routines, no pressure, just freedom. He said they could leave the morning of the wedding, but she didn't want to look like the bad guy. So she waited until 5 minutes before, I said. Jasmine hesitated. I think she thought Dominic would be waiting at the end of the road, metaphorically and literally. But when she showed up, he didn't exactly roll out a red carpet. What happened? She texted me from 2 towns over, said he seemed different in person, barely spoke to her. He told her his place was under construction and they'd have to figure something out. Then he left her there. Left her? Dropped her off at a gas station after an argument. She's been calling everyone she knows since then. I think she tried you too. She did, I said. I didn't answer. She's saying she made a mistake now, that she panicked. But Gary, it wasn't panic. It was a plan. She had a packed bag the night before. I didn't respond right away. She didn't just walk away from the wedding, I said. She walked away from everything. There was a long pause. I'm sorry, Jasmine said quietly. You didn't deserve that. No, I replied. But I'm glad I know. I hung up, walked into the bedroom, and opened the closet. Her side was still full. Dresses, heels, bags, all carefully arranged like she was coming back. That night, I started packing. By the next afternoon, I was boxing up the last of her things when the screen lit up. Kimberly. I let it ring twice. Then I answered. Gary, she said, voice trembling. Oh my God, thank you for picking up. I've been trying to reach you. I know. She paused, probably hoping I'd say more. I didn't. I made a mistake, she said. A terrible mistake. I wasn't thinking straight. Everything got so heavy, so fast. The planning, the expectations. I thought I wasn't ready, maybe. You weren't just unsure, I said. You were making plans. With Dominic. She went silent. Yeah, I added. I know about him. Her breath caught. I could hear it. You had a bag packed the night before. This wasn't panic, Kimberly. It was a decision. I was scared, Gary, and I thought Dominic was different. I thought he could give me something I was missing. And when he didn't, you called me? I said. No, I called because I love you, she said quickly. I messed up, yes. But we've built a life together. Can't we fix this? We can tell people I had a breakdown or something. We can just postpone things. I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because it was unbelievable. You think we can just walk that back? I asked. Like it didn't happen? I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did. Deliberately. You made a choice. I know, she whispered. But I don't have anywhere to go, Gary. I've been sleeping on couches. I haven't even told my parents the truth. Then I suggest you start there. She started crying. Gary, please, I don't know what to do. That sounds like a you problem, Kimberly, I said. Not mine. I hung up. This time I didn't wait for the next call. I blocked her number. But the drama wasn't over. Sunday morning I got a call. It was from her brother, Thomas. I let it go to voicemail. Gary, what the hell is wrong with you? You humiliated my sister. You made a show out of it. You didn't have to tell everyone. You should have handled it privately. Call me back. I didn't. The next day, emails started trickling in. First from Kimberly's old Gmail account. Then a new one I didn't recognize. The tone was colder now. We deserve a discussion, she wrote, about the costs, about emotional harm, about what was built together and what was lost. The bold part was costs. Apparently she wanted money. She listed expenses, my contributions to planning, joint purchases for the apartment, emotional investment, and, no joke, a therapy estimate. It got worse. Thomas emailed me next, demanding reimbursement for travel arrangements their family had made. Then another message, suggesting I pay for Kimberly to start therapy as a gesture of closure and accountability. I didn't respond to any of it. I forwarded them all to my lawyer, Daniel Cohen. He called me after reviewing them. "She has no leg to stand on," Daniel said. "She left. She terminated the relationship. You owe her exactly nothing." He offered to draft a formal response. I agreed. The next day, Kimberly and Thomas both received a single email. "Gary considers this matter closed. Kimberly voluntarily terminated the relationship and the wedding. No financial obligations exist. Any further attempts at contact will be treated as harassment." I wasn't angry. I was done. That night, I poured myself a drink and opened my travel folder. The honeymoon package, 2 weeks in Fiji, all-inclusive, was still sitting there. It was non-refundable, but the agent said I could change the second guest. I sent Eli a quick text, asking what he was doing the following week. At first, he thought I was joking, but once I followed up with a call and laid out the details, 2 tickets to Fiji, an overwater bungalow, first-class flights, all prepaid, he understood I was serious. There was no hesitation on his end. He was in. A week later, we were boarding the plane. The bungalow Kimberly picked out was absurd. Glass floor, ocean views from every angle. She'd obsessed over it for months. I remember her pointing at photos saying, "We'll swim every morning, drink cocktails at sunset, just the 2 of us." Now it was Eli and me, 2 guys on a luxury trip neither of us planned. It should have felt weird. It didn't. That first night, we had a few drinks and talked everything through. No pity, no advice. He just listened, solid as always. The kind of guy who doesn't flinch when everything else falls apart. By day 3, we'd met a couple of girls from New Zealand, backpackers doing island hopping. Funny, sharp, didn't ask too many questions. We ended up grabbing dinner with them that night. Nothing serious, just a double date that didn't feel like a distraction. It felt normal, easy. Day 5, I posted a photo on Instagram. Just me and Eli on the bungalow deck, drinks in hand, the ocean behind us. The caption read, "Making the best of unexpected plans. Paradise found. No hashtags, no location." I didn't tag anyone, but I knew it would get where it needed to. It didn't take long. 2 days later, I got a message from a friend of Kimberly's, someone I hadn't heard from since the wedding. "Just so you know, she saw your post. Kimberly's losing it." Apparently, she cried for hours, not out of remorse, out of rage. She thought I'd sit in the wreckage, but I didn't. I used every last dollar of that honeymoon trip. Not to forget her, to remind myself of what she walked away from. It's been 4 months since the non-wedding. The lawyer's email worked. The demands stopped cold. Kimberly and Thomas went silent, and no more strangers tried to guilt me into playing the villain. The smear campaign fizzled too. People stopped buying her story once facts leaked. The guy she left with, the gas station drop-off. Truth has a way of outlasting noise. I heard through mutual friends that Kimberly bounced around for a while. After Dominic bailed, she stayed with a coworker, then tried living with Thomas. That lasted 2 weeks. Eventually, she ended up crashing at a friend's spare room. Word is, she's working a temp job now. Nothing steady. Still telling people she was blindsided by everything. Still angry I didn't fight for us. She wanted a fresh start with someone new. What she got was a burned bridge and a dead end. Meanwhile, I'm doing well. Really well. The wedding cost was brutal, about $50,000. But I stopped seeing it as a loss. It was the price I paid for the truth. I've thrown myself into work again, hit the gym harder than ever, reconnected with old friends, even went on a few dates. Nothing serious, but enough to feel normal again. My place feels different now, like it belongs to me again. Sometimes people ask how I'm so calm about it. The answer's simple. She didn't just walk out on me. She walked out on everything we built. She gambled the future and lost before the first hand. She thought she could leave, try something new, then come back when it didn't work out. But that's not how it goes. You don't burn down a house and expect to still have a key. She rejected me 5 minutes before our wedding, and in doing so, she rejected the life she thought would always be there waiting. Now she's living in the ashes, and I'm not. I'm moving forward, and that's the part she'll never forgive me for. Thank you for watching.